Hello, welcome on in everyone. So I've been playing a lot of the Firestaff Rapier. I'll be honest, I think this is my favorite weapon combo in the game to play, and it just comes down to the fact that this is one of, if not the most mobile builds in the game. On top of it, the Firestaff hits super hard, the Rapier hits super hard, and the Rapier is really fun to animation cancel. Needless to say, I've been thoroughly enjoying myself, and I've got a few clips that I wanted to share with you guys today. If you guys want to check out an earlier version of this build, there's a link to it down in the description below. I will be updating this build with a fresh new copy as soon as I can. I actually still have to put the gear together. And without further ado, let's get right into that PvP commentary with the first fight here, which is already over, finishing off the player with my Firestaff as he tries to escape. Really like the Firestaff even against a bow. At a longer distance, I feel like the bow would have more of an advantage, but at the short distance like this, the Firestaff really excels. So I was actually doing a little bit of a farming trip, and I was just heading back to the bank, and that was the first fight I got into during the day. And then I decided to go do some PvP quests, so I headed out towards the PvP quest area and ran into this guy running the spear and the bow. Just a little bit of fencing with the Firestaff, and you can see the larger projectile size of the Firestaff I think really helped in getting the better of that exchange versus the bow player. At this kind of closer distance, I think it can be kind of tricky to land those bow shots when your opponent's moving around a lot. And there you can see I'm just going for the strafe back and forth. He's missing the arrows, go for the burnout right on top of him, and he switches to the spear. I go for just some heavy attacks with the Rapier. Honestly, against the spear, I think this is one of the best things to do because you kind of force them to come close to you and use their spear stuns. And the Rapier, you always want to get the counter with riposte and stuff like that. A fantastic dodge on his sweep, and he locks himself into the animation, going for the stab down, and I finish him off with the heavy attack. Anyhow, I finished up my PvP quest, -1 because I couldn't figure out where to collect the fibers for it, but came back towards the bridge at Cutlass Keys, and I ran into 2 more purple players, and it looks like they were doing some questing here at this little kind of quest hub, I guess. I haven't done any of this stuff here, so I'm not quite sure. I throw the fireball on them right away just to get their attention because one of them was teleporting away. I normally don't really like to throw a lot of damage into the players, but I am outnumbered, so it's okay that we got the jump on them, I think. And I'm just kind of throwing the heavy attacks out because they're free here. These guys are rolling around just healing up from their food and stuff, and they didn't use their potions. I think they do have the potions. There you see I put huge damage into this guy, and he forced him to use the potion. A big attack with the light attack there into the burnout. And I think that guy was really caught off guard with how much damage this build does. And the other player right away starts charging towards me with the spear. The spear is not a very fast weapon, so the Firestaff actually does a great job kiting it. And I mistimed the riposte. I thought I would have it off cooldown there, so I just eat the spear stun. He puts a lot of damage into me with that stun, taking half my health away. So he's actually got some firepower too. But he is getting chunked by my Firestaff. I go for the burnout there, just kind of spinning around him. And even though I didn't hit him with the burnout, it still forced him to turn around, kind of showing his back to me so I could hit him with the flesh to finish him off. And then I work my way back up towards Cutlass Keys, and I run into another green player. At first, I think it's the same player that I had just fought, so I was kind of like passive walking by him, but I realize it's actually a different player, and he starts going very aggressive with the spear. Some good reads on his incoming stun attacks. That's usually how the spear player likes to lead. And I just kind of feed him some damage with the Firestaff, and he takes cover behind the bit of terrain. I go for the burnout, just curling around it, managing to hit him and apply the burn as well, and then jump on top of him with the Rapier. There you see I go for the riposte. I was actually hoping to riposte the Javelin just to not take damage from it, but he ended up missing the Javelin. And man, using Incinerate. I'm not using Incinerate anymore on this build. You guys will see in the next clips I have switched it out for another skill, and I quite like that more. So the Incinerate not helping out, as you can see there. And I go for another burnout to get him while he's hiding behind the terrain. And then the Rapier gap close into the backstab. He ends up going forward as I backstab though, so I missed the backstab. He goes for his spear stun, a good read on it, into the dodge roll. And then I go for the heavy attack into the evade, followed by the light attack. And I get a nice combo in him. He just kind of takes a weird step there, and I managed to finish him off. Now, I played a little bit later in the day. This was a different trip that I went out to do, and this time I didn't really have any goals. I was just kind of looking for PvP, hanging around the fort and stuff here. and I run into this great axe and hammer player, and right away we start going at it. He tossed me around a little bit with the hammer there, so I'm just going to give a bit of distance between me and him and feed him the fire staff attacks. I get hit by the gap closer, and then I get pulled in. Bad timing on the dodge on my part, so I take a lot of damage from that combo, but it's okay. I have the potion up, so I'm able to just quickly heal up and then continue to apply pressure to him here with the fire staff into the rapier gap closer. A fantastic riposte as he goes for his stun there, and then it's just a heavy attack to finish him off. And then I just kind of sat and waited at the bridge because, yeah, people do the PvP quests here, and this is the only way to get to them. And I ran into another player, and this guy's running Great Axe and Sword and Shield. Definitely a trickier combo to deal with as well, especially because of all the grit that they have. And you can see right away he goes for the gap closer and then switches to the sword and board to try to put some pressure. I just go for a few rolls, trying actually to stay behind him rather than roll away from him, and then the fire staff gap closer through him. A little risky because he can block it and interrupt me. That being said, it is a good way to gauge to see if he knows or what he'll do when I do something like that. And he goes for the gravity well. Thank God I have the riposte ready. I get the counter stun on him right away and prevent him from putting a lot of damage into me in the gravity well. And he continues to come forward. Really like Pillar of Fire because it is an AoE, and it seems like if he's dodging, it still hits him. And he just keeps pressing towards me. The Fire Staff Rapier combo, though, such a fast build. Even though he has the Great Axe, we can do a real good job kiting him. And a great counter with riposte there. I go for the gap close to try to get the backstab. He keeps trying to go for some pressure with his Sword and Shield. Switches to his Great Axe for the gap close. Goes right away into the gravity well. And I get a good read on that right away into the burnout. Getting a good hit on him, too. He's trying to run away to heal up. And then I hit him with the light attack and finish him off. Now this guy comes back for another round. Full disclaimer, I fought him a few times, and he did beat me a few times as well. So good fights all around to this guy. And he has actually switched to the Warhammer and Sword and Shield combo to try to help deal with my build. I'll be honest, because I'm so fast, he definitely needs to have the Great Axe. Otherwise, I can kite him a lot easier. And the Warhammer is quite a slow weapon, so it's kind of a dangerous weapon to use against a Rapier player that has riposte, because it's easy to read the Warhammer and get those ripostes. You can see he tries to go for some damage on me. I roll through him again, forcing the turnaround, and he gets not the lunge that the Great Axe has with the Warhammer, so he's unable to connect any damage, and then I just keep on kiting him around. A Rapier gap closer, trying to get the backstab, and I right away go for the riposte, anticipating that he would do an offensive combo there, but he just holds his block and goes and hides behind the tree here. And I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of the fight as I say goodbye. Again, if you want to see a build video of this guy, I have an older version link down below for you guys, and I'll be updating it as soon as possible. And of course, there's a written guide on my website, PvP New World, if you guys want to check it out. And there's a lot of other builds on there too, so yeah, some good stuff. If you guys want to give me a follow on Twitch, you can catch that live gameplay, and you can also follow me on Twitter if you guys want to keep up to date with what's going on with me. I would love to do a top 5 PvP battle series for New World. If you guys have any awesome PvP clips that you want to send in, you can send it to Kristofer at pvpnewworld.com. This show is sponsored by What the Fast. It's a VPN for gamers. They can give you better ping to your favorite games, free to try for the first month, and there's a link down below for you guys. And then last but not least, a massive thank you and shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You guys allow me to do this job, and I'm going to be honest, New World has been an absolute blast, and I just am looking forward to doing it every day. Thank you guys for supporting. Thank you everybody for tuning in and watching. The build video is coming soon, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great night, everyone.